everybody. Welcome to another episode of When Calls the Hallmarkies, where we are talking about the latest episodes of When Calls the Heart. And today we are talking about season 10, episodes 2 and 3. I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Mary's here.
Hello.
How's it going?
So good. Exciting to talk about these things. We miss Caroline, but
I
know she was tweeting along and very happy about these episodes.
Yeah, I would say it was a pretty strong I'd say it was a pretty strong start to season 10. Some good episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in particular some really good acting from Pascal.
Yes, things are happening and she's amazing. So those were like my two takeaways.
Yeah, she's always been one of the strongest actors on the cast, in my opinion. And the nuance that she was able to show as she's got this conflicted feelings about being a mother, I thought really worked well.
Yes, her facial expressions, I mean, she just gives so much emotion in her face, and you're exactly right, those things she's thinking and feeling, just beautiful, poignant things happening.
Yeah. Well, let's dive in. Let's talk about them. And we want to hear from the listeners what you think of these two episodes and the different components. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section or on Twitter. So make sure to let us know what you think. But the first episode is called Hope Springs. And this episode is the town is buzzing with talk of the hot springs and how it will help the town. Meanwhile, Elizabeth and Lucas host Aunt Agatha and Julie, who make an interesting visit to Hope Valley. And I guess I want to get this out of the way up front. So we have Charlotte Hegel, who is playing Julie, and she had to post on her Instagram this week or last week because she'd gotten so many comments about her weight.
Mm-hmm.
And it really makes me sad that she had to do this. And she said that she said, for the most part, people have been super supportive. However, there are a select few who've been terribly unkind, judgmental, and a bit cruel. And she went on to explain that she has had to take medicine for her, she has had to take medicine and for her mental health, and that it saved her life. And so she's certainly has no regrets about everything. And I just want to, I guess the only reason I bring this up, because I usually don't comment on people's appearance, is just to let her know that we're totally in her camp and totally supportive. And I thought she looked great and was great as Julie. I've always liked Julie as a character. And so I'm sorry that she got that flack. And if we were interviewing actors, I would totally have her on. I've wanted to have her on for a while. It's just one of those ones that's never happened. I don't know why, but anyway, for the record, I just wanted to say that is total crap, that anybody would give her any flack for that. And we're on your side, Charlotte, 100%.
Yes, she's the same vibrant, vivacious, beautiful character. It was so fun to have Julie back.
Yeah.
And let's just hope that people can just be kind and understanding, because people go through things in life and people are beautiful inside and out, and she's just amazing. So little plug, if she's listening, when she's able to do interviews, it'd be great to have her on.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on, we do have Julie and Agatha coming. We've had Agatha on this show before. I forgot to look up when was the last time. It's been a while. We have had her on before.
Yeah.
And
this was a fun visit.
Yeah. I mean, you are a mother. You can probably relate a little bit to some of these things that both Rosemary and Elizabeth are going through with friends and family and everything, and here Aunt Agatha trying to want them to move, and be closer. All that stuff is sort of understandable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And those challenges come with families, of people wanting the best for their family member, their loved one, but also needing to also remember that they have their own life and have their own decisions to make.
Hmm.
And I think Elizabeth kind of tries to make that clear by the end. This is my decision. But also I do feel for Aunt Agatha, thinking, because we forget after 10 seasons where Elizabeth came from with that
Yeah.
background in Hamilton, and how her family is still there, thinking, okay, is your little adventure done yet? Come back into the bosom of the family.
Yeah. Well, and they kind of make an interesting dynamic, because they're saying that if anybody belongs on a large stage, it's Lucas.
Lucas. So that was interesting. Agatha's trying to go to him and try to, well, how about, and then also appeal to Elizabeth. Well, Lucas needs to be, and so Elizabeth starts to doubt, like, oh, what does he want? Maybe would that be better for him? And what a beautiful relationship they have, that Lucas is telling her, well, though it was frustrating that there were times when they would try to talk about it through the episode, they'd be interrupted or whatever, because these things just need to be talked about. I mean, sit down, let's talk through this together, so we're both on the same page. And by the end, they obviously are.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it is interesting, because I do think that certainly Lucas seems more someone who would be at home in Hamilton than Jack certainly was.
For sure. Jack was very fish out of water there. And Lucas, he speaks French, he's, to me, means sophistication. He's got
Right.
that air, where he really is this person, though. I think he can fit in anywhere. He's very flexible, but he would do well there. And that poker game. So the poker game, right? The Agatha and his play. That was so interesting. And just those dynamics of, trying to appeal to him, and him being like, here's, got my hand close to my vest here. So that was,
well, we were actually just talking about this on Sweet Magnolias, because there was this whole plot this season with one of the characters that doesn't want to leave Serenity, the town of the show, and her love interest doesn't want to, like, is more of a nomad. And we're talking about, like, you would move for the person that you love. Like, it wouldn't matter where you live. Like, especially if you don't have, like, somebody you have to care for, or child, or anything. Like, yeah, it might be hard, but there's no way 99% of people would give up the love of their life for a place. What?
Yes. And you
make any
see that
sense.
being used as a plot point in some movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, he wanted to stay here and I didn't, so we broke up. But if you were really, like, in love and you're committed in a relationship, you're going to be together and be where you can be together. So
yeah, it's the big conflict for Lou and Peter on Heartland, and you're just like, just live together. Stop it.
Be happy.
but yeah, I mean, on one hand, I can see, because it is more than just a place. In the case of at least the argument that Agatha's making is that all the opportunities and the person that Lucas could be, he could be more in Hamilton. And that's why I always thought it was a good choice for her to be with Lucas, because it just is more interesting. He's different than you would expect a show like this to go for Elizabeth.
Yeah, all his layers and his potential and his all the background we still don't know everything about, Exactly.
Yeah. So Bill is loving these hot springs.
Oh, he's feeling great.
Yeah. He's hogging it. He wants to keep them all to himself.
No swimming except for me.
Yeah. And I guess they're acting like this happened because of the explosion at the mine, and it caused a fissure. Is that what they said? A fissure?
Yeah, fissure. Though it sounded like they were saying Fisher, but I think it's fissure. Anyway,
something like that. Yeah.
Potato.
I'm like, I don't think that's the way those things work, but I'll go with it. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. we're
I'm not
going
a
with it
geologist. I don't know.
because when they started to figure that out, my own brain was like, the greater good from the explosion, it's helped
Yeah.
the town in all these ways. So I'm totally on with it.
Yeah. And so that was fun to see Bill so excited.
His
So
interactions with
cute.
the kids are hilarious. They have such good chemistry between those
Yeah.
kids and him acting. They call him out how many times he goes to the hot springs, and then in episode 3 when they're
Hmm.
kind of doing their scientific research and he's there doing all his funny facial expressions.
Yeah.
Loving that storyline.
So then we have Nathan. He is having this like pain and he goes all the way to Benson Hills to a different doctor in order to get the prescription. And May's like, what is wrong with you? And
Is this
and
just reminding you of like a college dormitory campus where the girls are
yeah.
like, what da 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 da, and the boys like, ba da 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 da, and they're like, da da da. That's what's
It's
happening with
very
this.
pick a little, talk a little.
Yes, May's like, why did you go to the doctor? And then Faith, it's just it's
Yeah. And May says, we're all friends, but you and Faith aren't acting that way. And I have to say, Nathan kind of makes me crazy as a character. He is such a wimp. Come on. Like he was a wimp with Elizabeth. He's a wimp here. Like, make a move.
Yes, be bold.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Don't be loosey-goosey trying to decide. Just go for it.
Yeah.
See, carpe diem. Did we not learn from the first episode?
Yeah, that's right.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
I mean, I understand it's awkward and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But you just got to do it.
Yeah. Maybe feeling a little insecure, not sure, hesitant. You're a Mountie.
You think he would learn from what happened with Elizabeth and be like, I'm not going to let that happen again.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And Faith then says that it doesn't help to avoid things. And then I was confused because he says that, well, you were the one that ended things. And she says, I didn't end anything because there was nothing to end.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we missed something.
I was thinking that too. Was there a scene that was cut, or did I miss some nuance in another interaction between them?
No, there definitely hasn't been anything happening that was stopped. I'm like, I want to see it. Oh my gosh, this man doesn't know how to ask a woman on a date.
The thing that was stopped was him and May from the last season.
Yeah.
And I completely missed if there was any Nathan Faith seeds being planted in episode 9, so yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe, yeah, I don't know, because their whole thing, the episode 2 and 3, Faith and Nathan, I was just confusing.
Yeah.
It's confusing interactions between them, but so I did see some hearkening back to, because I'm looking for those now ever since that interview with Faith, some hearkening back to that interaction of the Mountie saving the damsel in distress, because Jack did that for Elizabeth a few times. So this whole thing in episode 3 with the bandits, well, and how he's thinking, I'm going to go with you on your rounds, I'm going to keep you safe, and she's like, you don't need to. And then she teases him because he goes hot and heavy chasing after a squirrel.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
But he
But
blames it on Scout the dog.
it would actually be a really funny episode if they just owned the fact that Nathan's a wimp and had like Lee and like Ned, like other married men in the town, like be like, we've got to fix this. We've got to help
Yes.
you.
We're gonna have an intervention. Here's how you get a woman.
Yeah.
You're gonna be
Here
bold.
are girls. Here's
Here
what
are
girls
these girls.
like.
So do you know who Hickam needs that intervention too?
Yeah.
You can tell he's, thinking maybe I can make a move, and then he gets like thwarted. So
It's weird because I thought that Hickam was into Fiona.
yes,
I'm confused.
I know. I know. I don't. Maybe it's like they test the waters and they step back. The writers or the characters. And
Yeah, it was like they just
college
have to have a love triangle in this show.
And now
They
it's like
can't-
a love hexagon. What's 5? Pentagon. Pentagon.
Yeah, Pentagon. So then we have this whole scene with Agatha and Julie with these like the bridal sketch, and Elizabeth starting to freak out. And we know that this is true, that Elizabeth doesn't like people honing in on her wedding, even when she asked someone to plan it in 2 weeks, which was the case. So I thought it was interesting that she's so grateful for Rosemary's intervention in this case, when she was kind of a brat about it in the original wedding with Rosemary. And so I think that we see that relationship has really grown.
Yeah.
And changed, over, but we've known for long that Elizabeth likes, and everybody has the right to have the wedding the way that they want. It just annoyed me at the first wedding when it was like, we only gave her 2 weeks to plan it, like,
and then you complained. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, there was a cute interaction between Rosemary and Elizabeth, and Rosemary saying like it doesn't fit the wilderness rustic motif. Yeah.
The rustic motif, how she does with her hands, and she's like thinking of a stage. They had some great unspoken kind of communication, Elizabeth and Rosemary, with the looks and the eyebrows and the and then the reading the minds and that they've come a long way, this relationship where she's looking to Rosemary like, help me, save me, and Rosemary's like, on it, gotcha, girl.
Mm-hmm.
So,
because that's the best thing about Rosemary, is that she gets things done.
yes,
like she is a doer.
Yes,
and you need that in every like group of friends. There's
Mhm.
always that one person who
just
gets
takes
things
charge.
done.
Everybody sits around and hems and haws and wonders and worries about other people's feelings, and rightly so. And then finally, you just need someone like a Rosemary to be like, "This is what we're doing."
I have to say that is me. I am definitely within all my groups of friends. I'm definitely always the one who's like, "Okay, fine, I'll plan it."
Fine, we're doing this, and everyone's so grateful. Oh, thank you.
yeah. Okay. But yeah, it's cute to see. And like I said, I thought that Pascal was so good in these scenes. We learn about her mother.
Yes.
We learn about her sort of complicated child rearing. And had we heard that before about her childhood?
I was trying to think. I distinctly remember the scene when she and Lee, before they're married, are meeting with Pastor Frank, I think it was at the time, and talking about children. And he was like, I think I want 6. And she's like, oh, I don't know if I want any. So there was something there.
Mm.
And now, we're kind of getting that teased out finally of what was it about her past, or about her own feelings about herself, or her relationship with her mother that's kind of complicating this. So they're really bringing that out in these 2 episodes. About her just starting to get really reflective as she's facing this own change in her life. The trunk in episode 3 that Lee brings down from upstairs, she's like, oh, just keep it closed. I feel like there's something in there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Storyline about
yeah. There's definitely something in there. And yeah, she says this is the very end. She says that my mother left when I was very young.
Yeah.
And this is my father more than made up for it. But sometimes I wonder, And I thought she was very good in this. And I think that it kind of makes sense for her character that she was raised by her dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because she is a very loving person, but she also is very practical and very, like, I wouldn't describe her as like the most maternal person. And
Mhm.
so it's kind of interesting to see a character in an old-fashioned, very traditional setting as the show is, struggle with the idea of maternity and if she's going to be a good mom and things like that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I can't wait to learn more about this and see if that's a touching storyline for some of our listeners who might have,
Yeah.
gone through things.
Yeah.
Or I love how there's these different poignant themes and motifs through the show that can touch people's hearts in different ways. And this might be one for people. I know
Yeah.
before I had my first baby, I think I was just panicking. Will I be a good enough mother? Will I know what to do? Will I,
Hmm.
all those things. And so, um, in the baby shower, when everybody was reassuring her,
Yeah.
that was really sweet, even though
It
you can
was
say
really
that all day
sweet.
and then you just have to live through it. But she's like, I know what you did, Elizabeth. You had them all do that for me. And thank you. And that
Yeah.
was a great moment.
Well, I mean, I've never had a child, but I can relate to at least the feeling of, like, when I was younger, sometimes, because we both are from the same church, and when I was younger, sometimes I would struggle with the fact that people would give these talks about like how natural it is for women to be nurturers and to be and for me, I was always kind of like, really? I don't know. And I wasn't like, I've never been the kind of person who like sees a baby. It's like, oh, I want that
Give me
baby
that
or whatever.
baby. Yeah.
And and so I don't know. I always just felt like, well, is there something wrong with me? I don't feel like I'm a natural nurturer, and I am in my own way.
Right.
And I kind of had to come to my own sort of realization that I am who I am for a reason, and it's fine. But I can relate to that part of it with Rosemary, of sort of seeing all of these loving, nurturing women that are so great with kids, and seeing baby Jack and things like that, and just feeling like, can I do that? Is that in me? Am I that person?
Yeah.
When we don't realize that not all mothers are the same, and not
Mhm.
all children need the same mothers. And so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a refreshing dynamic to have in a show like this.
Yeah, it's good. And and I was thinking too how much it is important, this marriage that she has with Lee, and how that they balance each other so well, and that's what's going to help when they have their baby, because
Yeah.
they each have such strengths that complement each other, and he is this loving, nurturing, he's going to be, I'm sure, a loving, nurturing
Mhm.
father. And so they'll each find those ways to complement and be a partnership in as their parents. He'll help her through what she's is, or maybe it'll happen for her, and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they'll help each other through that. And the town is so close that there's just that love and help with them
Mhm.
all too. And we see that, I see that in my own life too, as I have I'm I work full time, but yet I'm still being this, trying to have that nurturing role where my husband will step in, and we each complement each other as we raise our children and try to
Yeah.
partner. So I'm hoping that for the cultures.
Well, and you see that when she comes into this customer meeting that he has, and
Yes.
because the competition is offered way lower, and he's not getting anywhere. And then she comes in and she's just like, she
Yes.
knows this
Oh,
guy, she knows his wife, and
yes.
she's like, that you'll be working with a friend, and how much is that worth? And she ends up getting not only the deal, but the deal for 2 years.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
it was
great.
great.
So funny how she was like, I'm not going to meddle. Let's just go play checkers outside the window. Like,
Yeah, right.
just going to listen for a little bit. Not
Yeah.
meddling, not, I'm this his thing. And then she just sweeps foot in. Hello, I remember your wife. Remember when we met? And just immediately puts this man at ease. And then he's like excited about this partnership. she's apparently this episode is all about our love for Rosemary, and why not?
Oh, well, and I have always loved Rosemary. That there were some who kind of saw her in sort of a devious light, I guess, because maybe she had some interest in Jack at the beginning. But she's always been my favorite character on the show.
She's so fun
from the beginning.
Yeah. So that business storyline. So I was taking notes these 2 episodes because sometimes the business ones kind of go a little bit over my head, and I was like, okay, I gotta pay more attention to what's happening. That, and then the whole thing. Well, and we'll get to it with the episode 3 with Lucas and what's happening there. I need it. I'm like, okay, what's happening? Let me pay attention here. This is big.
Yeah. So the family wants them to have the wedding in Hamilton. They've offered that they got this job opportunity for Lucas. And I don't understand why they couldn't have a wedding in Hamilton.
Yeah.
For her, or at least a reception or party of some kind.
Yeah. I know travel was a little bit tricky, but honestly, nowadays people have receptions in maybe where the bride's from and where the groom's from all the time.
Yeah. I mean, they have a train station right there now. So
yeah, that's true.
Why not?
It's not as hard as the original days of the stagecoach where you lose your trunk,
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do that. And maybe they will still, or maybe she's been in Hope Valley so long that it's kind of like, that's kind of my past. I don't really know too many. It'd be more a party for my parents at this point, and Agatha.
Yeah. So they're having a hearing, pretrial hearing, and Gowan, he pleads guilty, which in a way kind of makes it, because he is guilty. It's just a question of, is it a crime or not? Did he do the right thing? But he did technically do it. So I kind of understand where Gowan's coming from here.
Yes, I do too. There's so much nuance with the law. So depending on what he was charged with, is he pleading not guilty to that charge? But it was what I think Bill was trying to get him to do. No, and then we'll work through all this other stuff. But Gowan's like, no, I did it. I'm guilty. Done. Give me the punishment. He's wanting to be punished. It's so interesting.
Well, and he doesn't want all of his past going to be kind of exhumed in a trial.
Right.
And he doesn't want to be reminded of all the mistakes that he's made over the years. And I can understand that, especially if from his perspective, he's like, I did do it. So.
Right. He's really feeling that need to play, for penance.
Yeah.
For the beginnings of the our whole experience with Coal Valley back then. So
yeah. And I do think that Martin is also one of the best actors on the show.
Yes. We should definitely give him some praise. He
always brings it.
Yes, exactly. The emotion, the deep down meanings of his actions are always there in his acting.
Yeah. And he says, it's my call, Bill.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Jen Johans, host of the podcast Watch with Jen, which delivers a steady stream of great movie recommendations, thoughtful career deep dives, and first-rate conversations with film critics, authors, actors, journalists, filmmakers, and more. You can find Watch with Jen wherever you get your podcasts, or hear us first at our Patreon at patreon.com/filmintuition.
Die laughing because we've had this joke on the podcast that Gustav is imprisoned at the saloon. Can't leave, and I think that continued on. He evidently is very upset about the turnips, and then he says, Lucas says, I'm worried he might snap.
Yeah, I'm worried. That's right. I'm worried he might snap.
I think you could make like a really funny YouTube clip montage thing of Gustav the
yes, everything about or happening to, or
I think he's been allowed out one time for Hope Valley days.
Yeah, you can come out for now. We just need like a little webcam or like spy cam just in the kitchen,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Is he like, le poisson, le poisson?
What
What's
kind of
happening?
operation is Lucas running here? Gustav. Yeah. He's upset about the turnips. And you have this guy, Jerome, and Hickam is trying to, schmooze him, and then he's eating all the fancy food and
Oh, yeah.
everything, and he's costing them a lot of money.
Yes.
But they're trying to convince him to, not go forward with this.
Little whining and dining.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so the idea is brought up of the springs becoming a tourist attraction, which Bill is not a fan of.
He just wants it to be his own, though. the three girls make it their own tourist attraction when they go watch him swim.
Yeah, that was funny.
So funny. He's singing and swimming, and they're like, "Oh, how's it going in there?"
Yeah. I mean, it does make you kind of, why does Bill even have one of those outfits?
Oh gosh.
Because the springs are new.
Well, did he order it? There was just a quick scene in the Mercantile where he like
Oh, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I
You're
think he
right.
ordered it specially, like a bathing suit, like that's
Yeah.
to the times.
Yeah.
Um
Which is really funny. And
yeah.
cute.
Oh, that was so funny. And then you see that you see the seeds in episode 2 where he's like, I don't want this to be a tourist attraction. And then you see his grumpiness in episode, not season, episode in episode 3, when people start to come to, he's not happy. He has to park his horse 100 yards away because tourists were in his spot.
Yeah. And then we have this whole thing about, should Nathan accompany Faith on her rounds? And Hickam says, that he could go. And yeah, I was confused because I was like, I thought that Hickam liked Fiona.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
don't understand what's going on.
Why is did Faith accidentally take a love potion? And everybody's like, Fiona May, you're old news. We're going for Faith, I don't know. He was just overrun and spoken over the whole time, poor man, and lost his opportunity.
Yeah. And I still don't understand why they didn't keep up with Hickam as mayor. That was interesting. It was good. And
I thought so.
It's more interesting to have sort of an awkward person as, in a position of leadership than someone like Bill. It's like, I like Bill being the judge and I like Hickam being mayor.
Yeah, I did too. He didn't get enough of a chance. It went too fast.
What do you think of Faith and Nathan? Are you a fan of this pairing?
Maybe.
So I tweeted out, I was like, do I actually like Faith and Nathan?
Yeah.
And it was more this next episode when there's the damsel in distress scene.
Yes.
But I kind of like it. I didn't think that I would, but especially compared to her and Carson, it is a million times better.
Yeah, it's growing on me a lot more. They do have some good interactions, some good play with, their conversations. Is it time to make a name for them?
This is when we it's too bad we don't have Caroline here because she knows. What did she say it was? It was like,
oh yeah, oh gosh,
yeah,
Nathan.
It was like team in it was some combination of Mountie and an infirmary.
Oh gosh, that's right.
some horrible thing.
Yeah,
but I actually I think that these two actors have pretty good chemistry.
Yeah.
I think it's working pretty well. For some reason, I don't know why. I do think Andrea Brooks struggles with romantic chemistry in her roles. I love her. I think she's great, but I don't know. She's never quite nailed it for me with somebody who I thought, she has incredible chemistry.
Yeah.
But this is one of the better, I think, in her movies and certainly on the show.
Yeah. They're growing on me. The episode 1, I was like, I was having whiplash and now I got to wrap my brain around this couple and if I'm liking how this is going. But they did have some really fun scenes together, especially in episode 3.
Yep. And so then we have they have this community dinner up at the spring. Since Cooper found the springs, they give him the chance to name them. They think Cooper Springs, but then he's like, no, let's name it Hope Springs, which was
Yeah.
really cute.
Super cute.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's perfect.
Yes. And then Elizabeth tells Agatha, I will never fit into society life again. And this Hope Valley is our home. And you get the Hope Valley photo, which was cute, taken by Ned.
Yeah. Though I felt bad about the people over around the rocks and to the side. I'm not sure how wide angle his camera went.
Right. It was, yeah, it was a little awkwardly staged.
But maybe
That's
they
true.
wanted to like showcase, some depth in the photo. I don't know. I'm not very artistic.
Yeah.
Should they all be in a group like a class photo? But then I'm like, okay. But I
Yeah.
like that idea of documenting it and because that's historic,
Yeah. Yeah.
for
Well,
this.
and Julie says that she says, maybe I'll be an artist and a lawyer. And I was like, and she's talking about the men and Hamilton and everything. I'm like, this would have been a really cute time to have like paid homage to Jack's brother.
Yes. I know. I felt his absence. Like, we're not going to talk about him.
Yeah, like it would have been a cute, like, oh, I had that little fling with Jack's
Mhm.
brother,
Mhm.
or something. That would have been fun.
Just say something about him.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
would clearly remember those two together.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
And good for her to have ambitions. I keep getting stuck between, is this time period appropriate versus this show, and I love the show.
Well, I mean, you can't go down that road
No, because
on
there's
this.
so many things.
I mean, they ignored World War One. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Maybe this is a Brigadoon and it's just kind of like its own thing.
yeah.
Its own little town without outside stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, maybe she you know what, she could be. Though I'm thinking like time has passed. How old is Julie now? Should she have already been through college? But it's never too late. Maybe that's the
Yeah,
thing.
it does seem like, would she really go to law school?
Yeah.
Probably not, but it was cute. It was a cute moment.
Yeah, definitely.
And Agatha saying, you've been given a second chance to find happiness, hold on to it.
Yes, that
Mhm.
was sweet. I love that she didn't stick with, I still know what's right for you. She was sweet and for and looking toward them and their lives. That was cute.
Well, and Agatha is evidently quite the poker player.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So yeah, she cleaned up and and that was fun. That was a fun scene.
Mhm.
And I mean, I can almost feel some Hardys clutching their pearls about the poker game. When calls the heart, but
Oh no. I know, because it's back to those like seedy saloon days, like we're playing with
yeah.
face cards.
Well, that's why I liked in with Lucas. He says in the next episode, like, thanks for letting me have that side of me still.
Oh yeah.
When working with Jerome, and he's like, I still got that side of me, which was nice. And then this is when we get that whole conversation between Elizabeth and Rosemary about her mother leaving and her father making it up and all of that, which I thought was really, really well done.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And she's kept that too. I mean, she hasn't talked to Elizabeth about that. It shows that she's either that or the writers are now like, let's throw in this new twist. Or did they always have that and she just had not talked about it until
Yeah.
then?
Yeah. Well, and Elizabeth says that you never talk about your family.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is a good episode. I would give this like an 8.5. Pretty high.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Just so much. There's storylines moving forward. There's throwbacks to the past. There's lots of good stuff happening. It's a great episode.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
So then episode 3 is called Oh Baby, and its tourists start arriving, including the St. John's, who may prove to be trouble for Bill. Meanwhile, Elizabeth rallies all Rosemary's friends to plan the perfect baby shower. So yeah, the tourists are coming to Hope Valley. You got Ned renting out bikes and all kinds of stuff happening. And so we have this woman coming in, Madeline, and I was a little bit confused because I thought that Bill was starting to get interested in Molly.
Yes. They've been teasing us on that for feels like a few seasons now.
Mhm.
Where is that going to be this slow burn? But then he's like, okay, I will confess, when that Mrs. St. John first turns around, I was like, is his first wife back? Because wasn't she blonde?
Yeah, she did. I thought of that too.
Yeah.
Josie.
I was like, wait, what? Yeah, I couldn't remember. I'm like, I just remember he had a blonde wife that made Abigail so mad. So
was that actually his wife, or just Josie's character was she just like a love interest? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Anyway, yeah,
We're
I
gonna
thought of
get
that too.
going.
It did remind me of Josie.
Refresh our memories. Yeah, but then so yes, this character coming in, I'm curious what's going to be happening there, because she has this son who does not have a living father, so that's setting up something.
Yeah, and they definitely were setting up to be like the tough talking broad who's going to impress Bill, But I'm like, what happened with Molly? What's going on?
I know, the long-suffering, patient, funny Molly.
Yeah. And Bill's just getting very frustrated. He doesn't want these tourists there. He's like, don't encourage them.
He gets so grumpy. We've seen such an arc from Bill. He's sick, and then he's getting cheerful. He's sick in episode 1, cheerful episode 2, grumpy episode 3.
Yeah. Well, and I like his usual is coffee with extra sugar. Too bad it doesn't make him sweeter. It's funny.
He's so mad when he sees them sitting in his booth. That reminds me of some people I know. Like, they go to church and they're like, you're in my bench.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Yeah. Some people are creatures of habit, and it's very difficult.
And he is.
Yeah. Well, so Rosemary, she is like micromanaging this baby shower thing. And the thing that's hard is if you're the one that always is the go-to leader in your group, it is hard when you have to sort of set it aside and let other people plan, because you're just so used to being the one that has to do everything that it's hard to sometimes kind of let that go. Actually, I definitely felt that quite a bit, but that's a quality of delegation, is definitely a quality of good leadership.
Yeah.
And so I could relate to Rosemary. She was just so cute in this episode.
I know. No, you make such a good point, because I didn't see it from that perspective of you feel like you always, okay, well, they need me to be in charge, and also it's her shower, but it just brought up so many fun interactions and funny moments, showing that depth of her character and her acting, where she'd be like, oh, and here's the list, and then don't forget this, and I want this, and Elizabeth's like, got it.
And this shower was just absolutely lovely. It was peak When Calls the Heart. It's exactly what you want in this show. Loving, kind. And I did, like I said, I did appreciate the acknowledgement that there's not just like one way to be a good mother.
And that she would know, like it, that don't worry if don't compare to, because mothers do that. Like, oh, I wish I was more like her or whatever. She will have this natural knowledge of what is best as she mothers.
Mhm.
It was
For a
really
mother who is a natural born performer, think of mother it as your greatest role.
yes. Oh,
Mhm.
what a sweet line. I should have written that down. I wrote down instead as they were decorating for Rosie's shower. Is this too much? Not for Rosemary.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
But your role, that's a
Mhm.
great way for her brain to be like, I get it, you know.
Yeah.
Another funny moment was when she's just bustling them, and they like to force her into the chair to give her this massage, and on her, and she's like, oh, on her temples.
Yeah, that's
And then they put the
funny.
cucumber. Oh, that is nice. That is nice.
Yeah.
And then when it's time to get her up and going, Elizabeth's like, well, I need to talk to, I think it was Minnie, I can't remember, about the game Don't Say Baby. And
Yeah, that
Rosemary,
was really funny.
I hate
The
that game.
fiasco. Don't say
We
baby
can't play Don't Say Baby. You know I hate that game.
fiasco. Well, and let's be real, the games at showers are the worst.
Oh yeah.
Everyone hates them.
Yeah. So just sitting around with beautiful decorations and one tasty desserts and treats
Yeah.
was much better for them.
I'm a big fan of the recent trend of just making it an open house.
Yeah.
People can
Come,
come at
celebrate,
first
chat.
instead of a shower. I like that much better. People
Yeah.
can just come and go, stay as long as they want, and then they leave.
Yeah.
No
I agree.
horrible games. Yeah, much better. But yeah, that was really funny. Don't say baby fiasco.
What? But honestly, then they start to like do mud on her cheek, and then Elizabeth's like, no. I'm like, oh, so like quickly wipe it off. Come next week
Yeah.
for the second cheek.
Yeah, they evidently have a full spa going on at the in Hope Valley.
I know. Oh, the part that my husband was watching this episode with me, and the part that he really liked was Rosie has a list of helpful activities for the shower that she gives to Elizabeth, and Elizabeth made the funniest reaction sound. Oh, or it was kind of like a, oh,
Yeah.
because she's already in her brain thinking that's not what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Those two together.
Have you ever had a surprise party thrown for you?
No, I don't think I would like it.
Yeah, same.
I like to know what's happening, but I think I always look at the end of books. I like spoiler alerts.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, I wouldn't like it because for me at least, part of the fun of entertaining is the planning part of like make everything look cute and I don't think I would dislike it if someone threw me a surprise party,
Right.
but like,
let's be honest. Yeah.
but I would prefer to be involved in I am not the biggest fan of surprises, but
yeah.
but I would prefer to be involved in because that's part of the fun of it to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But it was good it certainly worked well in the episode. It was good for Rosemary.
It was. I think it was really good. And everybody was so excited to celebrate with her.
Yeah.
It's got to be hard when you don't know if it's a boy or girl, because they gave her a hat with a cute little flower. And I'm like, I think back in the day, they would just make generic, like cream colored or yellow colored stuff, and then or white, and you could just wear it.
I love it in the movie Juno when they're like, who decided the yellow?
Oh, yeah.
That's the gender neutral color.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know a single man that has yellow.
Right? That's true. Yeah. Doesn't work. So
yeah, it was so cute though. All those little hats.
And the booties, the hats, really, really cute.
Adorable.
Because those are the things you would make for a baby. You would hand make. And
yeah, I think they pretty much dressed all babies like girls.
Long nightgowns,
yeah,
long dresses almost. And,
yeah.
Yeah. In that time period.
You just made it work.
Yeah.
So evidently Gustav is also a pastry chef.
For sure.
He's
a good one.
In his interment, he's making cakes, and he made a cake for the shower, and then he makes a cake for Lucas and Elizabeth, and it's vanilla and lavender, and I say gross.
I thank you for saying that. Everybody in anything I've ever read where they want to make something fancy, it's like with lavender. I'm like, oh.
And why would you want chocolate on there too?
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
like
that
5
is so
tiers
complimentary.
with chocolate rosettes on a vanilla and lavender cake. Gross.
With gold leaf. I'm like, how is gold leaf
Ew.
in Hope Valley on the train? But kudos to Gustav. I mean, he's
Yeah.
like, wow, this is way too fancy. How about just a good, nice, solid vanilla cake, you know? Maybe
Well, I mean,
raspberries. That seems a little more.
yeah. Yeah, you could do that, like strawberry shortcake kind of a thing.
Yeah. I guess if they want a fall wedding, what would be like a fall pumpkin?
Or like a carrot cake. Yeah.
A carrot cake. Yes. We had carrot cake for our wedding.
Oh, you did?
Fall wedding. Yeah. With a cream
Mhm.
cheese frosting. Perfect.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
don't need any gold leafing.
No.
Which
Yeah,
was
I do not like, I know it's trendy, but I do not like using like perfumes in food.
Oh,
Rose water,
yeah,
orange
I
water,
tried some like
lavender.
rose truffles. It was a weird flavor.
Yeah, it's gross.
But other
It tastes
people
like
love it.
I don't care for it. It's like eating soap.
Yes, because that it's just a more, it just doesn't seem, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, no, thank
But
you. Vanilla and lavender. Ew.
yeah, and they were both like big bites. Like, yum.
Yeah, it was so funny. Our friend Terry, she was at a family wedding this last weekend, and she was live tweeting it.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm gonna go back
And
and
it
look at
was
that.
really funny. And then the smallest piece of cake you could ever imagine, like it was like a sliver.
Oh,
She was like, "What is going on?" It was really funny.
I need more cake.
I was like, I'm dying every update. But yeah. Sometimes this is the thing, like this wasn't in hers wasn't in Utah, but sometimes people in Utah can be like so stingy when it comes to weddings, so cheap. And you go and you get like the worst cake you've ever imagined, and then like a cup of nuts, and you're just like, what?
Yes. Maybe
It's like the one time that usually everything you go to in Utah is like bountiful food everywhere. And yet weddings are like the one time.
I know. And you don't know, and I never know, do I eat before? Is there going to be food? Just put it on the invitation, like come hungry or something. And then,
I always eat before because I'm just so used to it now that
you're going to get just a little piece of
there's nothing. My cousin though had the best wedding, and she had all these stations, and she had a whole high station.
Oh,
it was the best.
I love that idea.
Mm-hmm. And then like a whole station with like little sliders.
Yum.
Yeah.
I do love sliders. See, yeah, that sounds nice.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
They should just make Nathan and Elizabeth another community dinner.
Yeah.
So that everybody gets to eat at the wedding. It's a community dinner.
Like a potluck or whatever. Because remember Rosemary's wedding, they had to use most of the food and stuff for the disaster or whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And that was a way to feed everybody.
Mm-hmm. So that would be interesting to kind of bring that back up if there was something, that there's going to be, it's not going to go smoothly, of course, because it's Hope Valley.
There's always going to be a something going on.
Yeah, there was a whole fire for Elizabeth's first wedding.
I know. No, and I was thinking too, like I think I wrote down in my notes, like the planning going this way for now,
Yeah.
Something for sure is going to change here. So.
Yeah. And so then we have this whole thing with Lucas, and he confronts Jerome. And he says that he has this signed confession from the inspector saying that he was like manipulated by Jerome and that the mine wasn't safe. And he challenges Jerome about it. Mm-hmm. And he says that there would be a whole trial, and you would be the defendant, not Gowan. And Jerome takes the bait and he leaves town. And then Hickam opens the envelope, and it's a blank piece of paper. It was very good. Very good.
I know. I was sitting forward in the couch like, wait, what just happened? What? Because first I
Yeah.
thought, oh, he's just saying keep this somewhere safe and I'll have the original document somewhere else. But no, that was it. He totally did a bluffing poker thing,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
But then there must have been something to it because Jerome was like, oh, there was something else there that he wasn't going to be like, no, I'm going to fight this. He was like, okay, I'll leave.
Yeah. So
Or
it
was
was
it all
it
a
was
lie? It was
very
the truth.
risky.
Yeah.
It was very risky of Lucas,
Yeah.
but he took the bait because he's a gambler.
He gambled and won. Yeah.
Gambled and won.
Yeah. The other, yeah. Yeah. So that's where I needed a little help because I'm thinking, okay, is he lying or is he gambling on this working because there's some truth underneath all of this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think he knew, and this was the way to manipulate and convince,
Yeah.
get the truth out of Jerome.
Yeah.
And Jerome's just like a bad dude.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no
Yeah.
humanity in this guy.
He didn't insist it get submitted for evidence in the court or anything. He was like, fine, I'll go. So the other question I had about this episode, and you might have had this on your list to bring up next, was what was with at the end, Mrs. St. John on the phone. These are such nice people. And she looks around. Are you sure this is the only way? Like, oh, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Is that another twist, or does that have to do with this
definitely
storyline with Gowan in the court and the big bad man of business?
I don't think it has anything to do with Gowan, but I bet there's like some thing coming that's this is like the new railroad people, coming in. They're gonna there's gonna be some kind of like
a new threat to the town.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely of some kind.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that was definitely a good teaser.
Yeah. Woof. I was like, well, whoa, we got some new twists. Also, Gowan, the charges are dropped and Gowan was mad.
Yes, which is interesting. And he says, what did you do?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a matter of pride, I guess, for Gowan, that he kind of wanted to, he says, he'd taken the opportunity for me to pay my own bill.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lucas says, I wasn't going to let a good man and friend go to prison for doing the right thing.
Yeah. He goes, I wasn't asking for help. And he goes outside right in that moment. He's just walks outside. He kind of storms outside. He's confused by everything that's happened. And that's right when Allie comes up. Hey, in her super cheerful way, guess what? You created the hot springs. And then he just walks away and she tells me, I thought he'd be happier.
Yeah, it would be nice, I think, at this point for us to get a little bit of joy for Gowan after all of this. Like maybe his son would come back, or I don't know, just something.
Yes.
Something.
I would love just a little joy for him. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have this Jamie kid. He can't believe that these kids also have fun at school.
That they go to school together. What did he say? I go to the best school in the state. We don't have girls. And I was like, what'd you say?
Yeah, and he's like, fun. It doesn't seem like you're learning much.
Yes, you cannot understand the concept of a one-room schoolhouse, and they're learning and that they have fun. And that, Allie's like, those two things have to do with each other. School's best school. And Bill's like, nothing at all. Like you probably must be like, kid, stop it. So he's changing though. The kid at first is very like, my ways are better and my school is better. And then as he's spending more time with them, I think he's starting to just like soften and see his mind open a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, that you can see that the sort of cute dynamic between Allie and Jamie like developing. It's fun.
Yeah, that's really fun. I love that she has those things to do this season.
Yeah.
Really kind of showcase more of her chops and her,
because I do feel like they haven't known what to do with Allie and Robert. They're like not old enough to have an adult plot line. They're not young enough to have like a little kid plot line. So they've just I feel like they've struggled with both those characters, kind of what to do with them.
Yeah. Yeah. So they had a little more to do this time with, at least she did, learning,
Mhm.
science, doing science, and they put on goggles and like duck down to like look in the earth, and
Mhm.
or yeah, they had more to do. She's a joy. I hope to see more of her, and what they're gonna do, and if this Jamie sticks around,
Yeah.
as he's learning to love the town and be friends with these other kids, especially Allie. I can totally see his line, "Mom, she's not like other girls." Will that
Yeah.
change what's happening with whatever his mom's doing that's so devious?
Right. Yeah. So then we have we have more of the shower, and Rosemary saying, "I see what you did, all those friends with their compliments. You knew I was nervous and you wanted them to help me through it." And
Yeah,
this is I have a whole family here at Home Valley. It's very sweet.
I know, that was super sweet. I love those sweet moments intermixed with some very funny, quick little moments, like
Yeah.
the ringing of the bell over and over and over. And Lucas is like, "Nope," puts it under the
Yeah.
counter.
That was good.
That was super funny. I think they used it in like a preview quick clip on social media, or he's moving the furniture around and they're like, "Stop it."
Mhm.
So poignant moments, moving different plots forward moments, and then cute little funny moments interspersed. It was a
Mhm.
really good episode.
Yeah. And then Lee makes Rosemary a bassinet and rocking chair. It was really cute.
Yeah, that was sweet. The rocking
Mhm.
chair, I think I have rocked in one very similar to that
Yeah.
in many church meeting houses around
Yeah.
the mother's rooms. But so it's going to be comfortable for her if it's like the one
Yeah.
that glides back and forth. That was
Mhm.
cute, and what a darling, just a darling thing to do. It gets really real. I wrote down Rosemary has nausea, nervousness, and nesting.
Yeah.
got got a lot to do before. And then the preview for next week, it seems to imply that she's going to go into labor next week, I think,
Yeah.
right?
I do think they could have had a little bit more fun with Rosemary and her eccentricities being pregnant. Like, I don't know, just could have had her like eating pickles, or I don't know, just
Yeah.
something funny, like
Yeah.
because she's an eccentric person, that it would have. I feel like there was maybe some things they could have done
Lean
there.
into, lean
Yeah.
into more of that. Like in Lady and the Tramp, the old, when she in the middle of the night in the snowstorm,
Oh yeah.
"Sure you want watermelon?" And she's like, "And chop suey too." You could see Lee going out like, "How am I supposed to find?" Well, let's be honest, Gustav probably has the
Oh
ingredients
yeah.
in the kitchen for whatever crazy thing Rosemary's craving. He could probably has
Been
it
really
somewhere.
funny.
Yeah. If he has gold leaf and lavender, he's probably got what Rosemary wants, unless it
Yeah.
was really random, like fried pickles.
Yeah. I did like it. This was actually in the previous episode. I liked the moment between Bill and Elizabeth, and Bill says, you never give up on people.
Oh yeah.
That's your best quality." And I really liked seeing that in this episode when Elizabeth finds out about Gallon and how excited she is. That was really well done.
That really was. She does see the best in people and hopes for the best for them. She's not holding on to their, past hurts or,
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah. That's when Lucas says, "Are you okay with that? With me using some of my old tricks?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then she says, "To save a friend, I actually kind of love you for it."
Yes.
Mhm. And
Yes.
that's why Lucas was the more interesting choice. It makes Elizabeth have to grow as a character, and in a way that Nathan never would have made her have to grow.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. No, I
Mhm.
agree.
Mhm. So that is the episode. I think this was another winner, and I enjoyed it very much. I'd give this one like another 8.5. I think it was really solid.
Yeah. Me too. I had a great time with it. Sometimes I have to like stop halfway through and go to bed or do other things. And this time
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to watch the whole thing. Everybody, children, take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
Cute. It was sweet. And for all the reasons we listed.
Yeah. Well, let us know if you're listening what you think of these 2 episodes. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another recap. And so sorry. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another recap. So we'll be excited to see what's going on in Hope Valley. And Mary, where can people find you?
So I am _Mary Richards on Twitter, Mary Richards Reports on Instagram, and Reporter Mary Richards on Facebook.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast, the Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave us your 5-star ratings and reviews. It really, really helps us a lot. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Most of our listeners are not subscribers on YouTube. So we really need those subscribers. So please hit that subscribe button. And then we also have the merch store where we have tons of Hardee's inspired merch. And we have the patron group, which is a lot of fun. We have director Peter Sullivan coming for the watch along in August. So that should be a lot of fun. And it's just a great group to be part of. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.